Kilmarnock FC, founded all the way back in 1869, making Killie the oldest professional football club in Scotland. But despite boasting a proud 150 plus year history, Killie have only won one Scottish League title, 3 Scottish Cups and 1 Scottish League Cup. They, like many other Scottish clubs, have fallen into the shadow of the old firm, Celtic and Rangers, a shadow that appears to be growing larger and larger for Killie. So today we aim to change that. We are going to become the boss of Kilmarnock, and we have got one main goal in mind: win the Champions League trophy with Killie. But there will be a twist in this rebuild. Every single season we will have an objective we have to meet. If we do not meet this objective, we must spin the forfeit wheel. This wheel has the power to completely sabotage the rebuild, leaving Kilmarnock in that ever-growing shadow. But can we take Kilmarnock from Scottish underdogs to kings of Europe, or will the forfeit wheel completely derail the save? Well, as we load into FC26, Kilmarnock's starting 11 is not looking good. While there are some decent players currently at the club for Scottish Premiership standard, it's going to take a lot of work to take Kilmarnock from 9th in the SPL to champions of Europe. And you may notice as we go through the squad, we have done the real life transfers, with the likes of Brad Lyons going to Aberdeen, David Watson going to Bolton, and Dominic Thompson going to SK Beveren. And we do have 3 players in on loan at the moment, the best player being Finlay Curtis, who we're not going to be able to use as these loans have expired in real life. But thankfully Killie do have some good young players who we could build the team around. Ethan Shilty-Brown at 20-year-old and 60 rated is someone who could have some good potential. Joe Hugel, 21-year-old, 62 rated, former Manchester United man, could be someone who could grow to maybe 80 rated. He used to play for Wigan though, so I might have to sell him. And one big positive, only 3 players at the club are over 30-year-old. We do generally have quite a young team. And even better news, no contracts to sort out in season number 1, meaning we can use our £2 million budget to actually improve the team. But some of this money is going to go on signing players that Kilmarnock have signed in real life. That's if we can actually get the deals over the line, however. And this rebuild has actually been picked by you guys. We ran a recent poll on the channel and Kilmarnock only just won. It were very close. If you want to see more polls on the channel, let me know. I'm more than open to allowing you guys to pick what teams we rebuild in the future. Now, Kilmarnock's notable signings in real life are Bailey Rice on a season-long loan from Rangers. They've signed Mark O'Hara on a free from St Mirren and paid a fee for Eric Ring of Lincoln. We're going to try and get all 3 of these players to the club in the first transfer window. But as we know, the forfeit wheel is back in this rebuild, and given we don't have the best team on paper going into season 1, our objective for the first season will be to finish in the top 6, which isn't going to be easy. Kilmarnock finished 9th in real life last season. But getting to work on the transfers, we've managed to bring Mark O'Hara to the club. He's joined us for 850 grand. Bailey Rice then joins us on a season-long loan from Rangers. And finally, Eric Ring joins us from Lincoln City, and he joins us for 500k. But I wouldn't expect to see any more signings in season number 1. We've only got 200 grand in the bank. Bit of a shame, because I would have really liked to put my own stamp on this team. And just given how low quality our Kilmarnock side is in season 1, I'm going to go with a low risk tactic in the counter-attack system. And I think just analysing the squad, it is probably just best we stick with a 4-4-2 for the time being. Now, with what little money we've got remaining, we are going to try and do some youth scouting, but it may only be for 3 months. Our youth scout is absolutely disastrous. That's somewhere we have to improve next season. Because our youth scout is so bad, I'm not going to use your recommendations for season 1, as we probably aren't going to find anyone decent. I am just going to scout Scotland in hopes of finding a new young goalkeeper who could break into the first team. And if you guys think this Killie team can crack the top 6 in season 1, be sure to drop a like, hype and subscribe down below. It really does help me out. It only takes a second. The support on the channel never goes unnoticed. So season 1 is now completed. Looking at our team, not really seen much growth, to be fair. 2 strikers have shown some good growth, however, and we have got an academy player in our starting 11 in Penman, who's 62 rated, Scottish, and has got up to 85 potential. But the entire squad has got really decent morale. Hopefully that means we have achieved a top 6 finish and we don't have a forfeit coming our way. Some pretty encouraging stats as well. 3 players get more than 10 goals. But other than John Jules O'Hara and Hugh Gill, the rest of the squad has underperformed, especially our wingers in Greg Kilty and Eric Ring. Would have liked to have seen more from both of our wingers. But unfortunately, we have finished 8th overall in the Scottish Premiership, which does unfortunately mean we have got a forfeit coming our way for season number 2. And with some of the forfeits on that forfeit wheel, this could really jeopardise this rebuild. Well, I was hoping for some better news in the Scottish Cup, but we lost in the first round to Hearts, who beat us 3-1. And of course, it'll be an old firm in the final. Well, 1 season down and we've already got a forfeit. Let's spin the wheel and see which forfeit we are going to have for season number 2. Please be kind to us, wheel. Don't give us anything too bad. I don't believe it. I don't believe it. We have got to release our highest rated player, which I think is Mark O'Hara. Well, the highest rated players at the club are Robbie Dees and Mark O'Hara, who are both 69 rated. We're going to go off transfer value to decide who we are going to release. Well, Robbie Dees is worth 1.3 million and Mark O'Hara's worth 1.1 million. So we are going to have to release Robbie Dees for a total of 153 grand. But this does come with a positive though. We can make signings in season number 2. So as we head into the second season, we have got a very good transfer budget of £4 million, which we can put to use. We're going to be looking to utilise cash signings, loan signings, and also free agents in this transfer window. I'm definitely going to be looking to improve our defence, which is easily the weakest part of the team, and I'm going to be looking for wingers as well, as Kilty and Ring just did not perform last season. The academy is looking okay. No one we can promote to the senior team so far, and no one's really got the best potential either. So we are going to sack Nickel, who's a one-star scout. We've just brought in Pfizer, who's a two-star scout. Just trying to save a little bit of money. I know we'll finally use your recommendations for nations to scout. So for this season, we are going to be using this comment. We're going to be scouting in Czechia, but we're going to be looking for defenders, as that's the part of the squad that's got the least potential. Now we need to nail the signings in this transfer window because I don't want to have another forfeit. The objective we've got to meet this season to avoid getting a forfeit is sign 2 Scottish players, which, given the fact we've only got £3.3 million in the bank, and we are probably going to have to rely pretty heavily on frees and loans in this transfer window. If there's no good options out there or no Scottish players who are willing to join us on loan, we'll be looking at yet another forfeit. So I think first things first, let's look at the free agents list and see which Scottish players are on there. Well, would you look at this? 3 of the free agents are actually former Kilmarnock players, one of which is Lewis Mayo, who I'm definitely bringing back to the club at 26-year-old and 68 rated. He's a good replacement for Robbie Dees. So that's Lewis Mayo signed up on a long-term contract. We now only need to sign 1 more Scottish player to meet our season 2 objective. And it looks like our second bit of transfer business has been completed. We've just agreed a 1-season loan with Leeds United for Sam Chambers. We have inserted an optional future fee of 1.1 million. We're going to position change him to a right midfielder, and that's 2 Scottish players signed, so no forfeit is coming at the end of season number 2. But our latest signing is a left back from the Danish Super League. We've completed the signing of Georgi Tabat-Tadze, who joins us for £1.1 million. So for our next incoming, we're turning our eye to the left midfield position, where I feel we've managed to bring in a very promising youngster from the Elite Ceiling, as young exciting winger Michael Apoku has joined the club for just £800,000. And for our final signing of season number 2, we have raided Melbourne City for a very exciting young 17-year-old fullback, as we've completed the signing of Bessian Kotleshe, and we've paid 900 grand for his services. And I know what you're thinking, 900 grand on a 17-year-old 61 rated unproven Australian player. Trust me, he's got fantastic potential. In a couple of seasons time, he's going to be one of the best players at the club, and I think we've done some really solid business in this transfer window, bringing former fan favourites back to the club and signing young players who'll develop, who we could sell on for significant fees in the future. And there has also been some outgoings in this transfer window. Rory McKenzie, Aaron Shabola, Liam Polworth and Nicky Klasenko have all been sold. Loaned out a youngster David Carson, who has got decent potential. Hopefully when he comes back he's ready for some first team football. But will our new signings be enough to improve on an 8th place finish? At least we have the benefit of knowing there's no forfeit at the end of the season. So season 2 is completed. Have we improved? Have we got worse? Well, our starting 11's starting to look a little bit stronger. We've got a trickle in of 70 rated players in the team now. As you can see, young goalkeeper Beach is now our number 1, as he has reached the same overall as Stryjek. There's definitely some positions I want to improve in this starting 11 going forward. But all in all, when it comes to player growth, things are looking good. And one thing we've got to do in season 3 is make the loan of Sam Chambers permanent. 19-year-old and 70 rated with 5-star skill moves, growing by 4 overalls. He's already worth £3 million. We could sell him for massive money in the future. Well, as we look to the stats, once again, Tyrese John Jules was our best player, getting 17 goals and 4 assists. Opoku got 11 goals in his debut season in Scotland, and Hugel and O'Hara did add some goals as well. Looks like we've scored slightly less goals this season, so I don't really know what to expect when it comes to the league table. Well, I should have known. We've finished 8th again in the league, 2nd place in the bottom group. We finished 8th in the first stage as well. I think if you add all our points together, we would have technically finished 7th in the league. We're really struggling to bridge that gap from bottom group to top top group. So in season 3, I might emphasise signing some free agents who are first team ready, because we don't want to have another visit from that forfeit wheel, and our objective for season 3 will be to get into the top 6 of the SPL. But for the second consecutive season, we have left the Scottish Cup at the first round, losing to Celtic 3-0. So I'm adding a second objective into season 3. We must reach the quarterfinals of the Scottish Cup as well as reaching the top 6, or we will be spinning the forfeit wheel in season number 4. So we're already in season 3 as Killie boss. Time flies when you're having fun. £4 million once again sits in our bank account. We can't really complain at that budget because, let's be honest, we haven't improved in the league. Quick scan of the academy shows we've got an excellent young right back in Benjamin Jahoda, who's got up to 90 potential. He's going to go out on loan this season, and I tell you, if Kurt Leshy doesn't have good seasons of growth, Jahoda will take his place. And we also found another promising youngster from the Czech Republic, Petr Vanek, 17-year-old, 62 rated, out on loan at the minute. With Mark O'Hara being 31 years old, Vanek could come back from loan and instantly take his place in the team. Well, the first order of business for season number 3 has to be making Sam Chambers' loan into a permanent deal. We've already discussed he's going to be a massive player for us going forward. Signing for just 1.2 million is an absolute steal, leaving us with just 2 million to further improve our team. So our second incoming strengthens our goalkeeper position, and we have brought someone in from the free agents list, and he goes by the name of Guilherme Fernandes, who joins us on a 2-year contract, becoming our new number 1. Now, one thing we have managed to do in this rebuild is build quite a special relationship with Leeds United when it comes to loaning players. So when we saw that Harry Gray was available for loan, we jumped at the chance to bring him to Kilmarnock. 18-year-old, 66 rated striker. We've agreed a 2-season loan with an optional future fee of 1.25 million at the end of that loan, and he will be replacing Tyrese John Jules in the starting 11, who has been our top scorer for the last 2 seasons. Why is this, do you ask? Joe Hugel is growing at a faster rate. He is already worth more money than Tyrese John Jules. I'd rather give the minutes to Hugel, him grow more, and we sell him for more, because I don't think we're going to make much money on Tyrese John Jules. For our final signing of season number 3, I felt like we were lacking a backup left-footed centre-half, so we have raided Dundee United for the starting left-footed centre-back, as Ross Graham swaps Tangerine for Blue, joining us for 870 grand. I'm very happy with the business we have managed to do in season number 3, a good mix of youth and experience with players who come in and make our starting 11 a lot better. Really excited to see how Harry Gray develops in a Kilmarnock shirt, and I think heading into season number 3, we've definitely got a team which is capable of finishing in 6th position, maybe even 5th, and hopefully a quarter-final of the Scottish Cup is on the cards, because I really don't fancy spinning that forfeit wheel at the end of the season. Now we're back to youth scouting, back to using your recommendations. For this season, we're going with this comment. We're going to be scouting in Chile, where we are going to be looking for CDMs and forward-thinking players. Hey, if we could find the next Alexis Sanchez, I would not be complaining. Now, along with the incomings, 5 players have left the club. Kyan Leslie, Bruce Anderson and George Stanger have all left for decent fees. We've loaned out Benjamin Jahoda to Oldham Athletic in League 2, and we've had one major sale. Eric Ring has been sold, found himself out of the first team and handed in a transfer request. We've made 1.4 million on him. But how is this Killie team going to do in season number 3? Well, we'd better hope we meet our objectives. With the forfeit wheel lurking round the corner, the pressure is ramping up significantly in season number 3. So season 3 is now completed, and we did switch up the formation halfway through the season, and I went to a 4-2-3-1. As you can see, the team is looking very strong with multiple 70 rated players in the team. Now, Vanek's loan expired. He come back to the club at 66 rated, so we've dropped Penman back into defence and put Vanek in at CDM to partner O'Hara. He looks like a very good young player who has got 5-star skill moves. Hopefully we will not be seeing that forfeit wheel at the start of season 4. At the end of the season though, we are going to be releasing Jamie Brandon, who just isn't good enough to play for the club anymore. And if we look to our stats, some very encouraging signs here. Hugel, Gray and O'Hara all having very good seasons, and Chambers chipping in with 9 goals and 7 assists, going to 76 rated. That is very, very positive. I think we're definitely going to be looking to make Harry Gray's loan into a permanent deal. So all signs are pointing towards a pretty positive season. And we are absolutely right, lads. We've finished 4th in the SPL on 67 points. Not even far off the Champions League places, only 9 points behind Rangers. That means the first part of our seasonal objectives has been completed. We have cracked the top 6, and we did manage to maintain 4th place in both stages of the competition. Now, if we have reached the quarterfinals of the Scottish Cup, we won't have a forfeit for season 4. But just as everything's going so well, FC26 decided to throw us a curveball. For whatever reason, we did not play a first round game in the Scottish Cup this season, despite the fact teams like Rangers, Celtic and Hearts did. This actually meant we went straight into the quarterfinals, which technically means we passed the objective. But if you look, We got battered 4-0 by Hearts in the quarter-final, and this was technically our first game in the Scottish Cup. Have to be fair, lads. That's a failed objective. We played one game in the Scottish Cup and lost it 4-0. There's no way I can pass that. So we will be spinning the forfeit wheel in season number 4, unfortunately. But before we progress into season 4, I have seen we've got £4 million in the bank, which I didn't even know we had. I'm going to use this money to just make Harry Gray's loan into a permanent deal before we go into the new season and probably lose that money. We're going to get in for 1.25 million. This is an absolute steal and a fantastic signing. But we have now arrived in season 4. We've only been given £5 million, which is pretty disappointing. And this season we are in fact in the UEFA Conference League. We've been given an objective to reach the quarter-final. I actually think that makes for a good seasonal objective for season number 4. So our objective for this season will be to reach the quarter-finals of the Conference League. Otherwise, we'll be spinning the forfeit wheel at the start of season 5. And speaking of the forfeit wheel, we do have to spin it, unfortunately, for season number 4. Let's just get it over and done with. Let's see what we're going to be dealing with going into the season coming up. And we will only be able to sign free agents. Now, do you know what? On paper, in any other rebuild, this would have been pretty bad. But do you know what? Given the fact we've only got £5 million in the bank, we wouldn't have really been able to sign anyone who significantly makes this starting 11 better. So we're going to look at the free agents list, see if there's anyone we can sign who improves our bench or starting 11. And this could be a blessing in disguise. We'll try and make good of a negative situation. And I just want to say a big thank you to the forfeit wheel, because the forfeit wheel has enabled us to bring 2 free agents in who massively improve our starting 11. We've signed a new number 1 as ex-Liverpool shot stopper Vitislav Jaros has joined us on a 3-year contract, who is a pretty significant upgrade on the keepers we have at the club. And we've also signed a new centre forward. Marco Nasty joins us on a 4-year contract, and I am hoping to see some nasty performances on the pitch from our new centre forward. So that's 2 free agents who we've managed to bring into the starting 11 who actually make us significantly stronger. And this also allows us to drop Fernandez and Hugo down to the bench, who are very strong players. And we put a lot of work in with the academy in this rebuild so far, something that we have actually neglected a little bit on the channel recently. And if we look to some of our young players who we've got filling out the squad, there's players here now who could come in and do a job for us. He's been rewarded with a new 5-year contract and will be a rotation option for us next season. I'm going to look to make one more free agent signing to improve our midfield options, as Lowry and Thompson really aren't the best, and we are going into European competition next season. But before we do that, let's get back to you scouting your recommendations. And for this season, we are going with this comment. We are going to be scouting in Ukraine, where I am actually going to look for goalkeepers in Ukraine. While we have signed some really good ones off the free agents list, none have really got excellent potential. And the academy is looking decent as well. A very promising youngster here in Rafael Bello, who is now ready to go out on loan, which he will do this season. And we've just had a look on the free agents list, and lads, we've found Jean-Baptiste Garbe on the free agents list at 77 rated and 25-year-old. The forfeit wheel has come in with one of the best assists of the rebuild so far, because I would not have dreamed of looking so in depth on the free agents list without this. I think if we do a smaller team again with a forfeit wheel, I might take free agents only off it. And we complete the signing of Jean-Baptiste Garbe on a 4-year contract, rounding off an immaculate transfer window. A big shout out to our friend the forfeit wheel. That's another season ticked off as Killy boss, and looking at our starting 11, definitely starting to take shape. 3 players have now cracked 80 rated, and the entire starting 11 is above 70 rated as well. Really good progress in terms of player development. All that matters, have we completed our seasonal objective? Stats looking good as well. Marco Nasty with 26 goals and 12 assists, 38 goal involvements in his first season as a Killy player. Opoku and Harvey Gray absolutely brilliant as well. Chambers, though, considering he's probably our highest rated attacker, they don't really have the best of seasons. But as we can see, we have finished second in the SPL. Champions League football is coming to Kilmarnock, who are only 1 point off tabletop in Celtic, who did have vastly superior goal difference to be fair. But we've secured Champions League football. Let's just hope we're not going into the Champions League with a forfeit from the forfeit wheel. Now in the Scottish Cup, we would reach the quarter-final. We did actually win the first round game for some reason. No idea why, you just get randomly thrown into it. But we did lose to Rangers 2-1, who will go on to play Hearts in the final. And now it's time for the moment of truth. Did we reach the Conference League quarter-finals? Well, I'm looking at the quarter-finals, lads, and I can't see us, which means we will have a forfeit going into season 5. Oh, we lost in the round of 16 to Hearts, of all teams. 4-3 aggregate loss to Hearts. I don't actually believe it. So what what's going to be our forfeit going into Season 5 and Champions League football. We did get free agents last time, which really helped us out. Oh, what's that landing on? Only signed players over 30 years old, which, given the fact we're not going to get a lot of money, this is going to be very difficult. Nowhere near as good as free agents only. And the players we bring in aren't going to have much resale value. We did make a few player sales in the off-season. Greg Kilty, Tom Lowry, Eddie Beach and De Janeiro Daniels all leave the club. We have loaned out quite a few youngsters, and Rafael Bello's grown all the way up to 67 rated. Jahoda 68 rated. I don't see any reason why these players can't be rotation players when they come back from their loans. So we are now in Season 5. Officially, Kilmarnock are a Champions League club, and we've only got £10 million in the bank signed players who are over 30 years old. And I think just given we're developing so many good young players who have come through our academy, I'm not going to be signing any players with intentions to put them in the starting 11. We're going to focus more on bringing squad players into the club. So maybe a new backup centre-back, new backup full-back, new backup CDM, and we'll keep our young players out on loan for another season so they can get better and better. Now, because we had so much success off the free agents list last season, I'm going to add one more forfeit. We're not allowed to use the free agents list in this transfer window, but we have managed to make our first signing of season number 5 as we bring a versatile central midfielder in from the Bundesliga, as Robin Fellhauer joins us from Augsburg for £2 million, a very versatile midfielder. And we complete our second signing of season number 5, an experienced centre-back who has played Champions League football before is joining the club, as Wout Faes joins the club from Leicester City, and we've paid just £2.5 million for his services. Now, our final signing of season number 5 will be a new backup fullback who joins us from the Serie A, as we've completed the signing of Dominic Schmid from Sampdoria for £2.2 million. And in all honesty, our bench is looking really competent. Every single player above 70 rated. We've got a decent starting 11. I would like to see a few more. Actually, do you know what? We've signed Wout Faes to be a backup. Luis Mayo's 29. He's nearly 30. He probably won't get as good as Wout Faes. I'm going to put Wout Faes into the starting 11. So we've actually ended up with a player going into the starting 11. I'll take that for sure. And with only 361k left in the bank, I don't think we're going to have enough money to do any youth scouting. I'm not really looking to sell anyone in this transfer window, but we are looking to get more youngsters out on loan. So it is a good thing we have got loads of young talent at the club. But before we progress to the end of season 5 to see how Kilmarnock get on in the Champions League, we do have to set an objective for this season. And with the squad we've got on paper and the projected player growth that's going to ensue in season 5, I'm going to give us a really difficult objective. I think we need to win a trophy at the end of this season, which could be the SPL, it could be the Scottish Cup, and it's not going to be the Champions League, although it would count. If we don't win silverware this season, going into season 6, we will have yet another forfeit. But we have arrived at the end of season number 5, and I really hope this isn't a sign of things to come. Injuries to both Penman and Chambers, however both injuries are not long term, thankfully, probably overshadowing the fact we have had a lot of growth this season from the likes of Gray, Chambers, Garby. We are slowly building a team that looks capable of competing in the Champions League. As we look to the stats, it is looking promising. 3 players have scored over 20 goals, with Gray and Chambers getting 15 assists each. Harry Gray's grown by 7 overall, by the way. Well, it's back-to-back second place finishes for Kilmarnock, to finish on 77.6 points behind the league winners Rangers. So we haven't won the Scottish Premiership. It looks like we've secured Champions League football again next season. Only this season, we weren't in the Champions League despite finishing second. We're actually in the Conference League. I may have to review my footage and see if we'd played one more game than other teams. However, we did get to the semi-finals of the Conference League. We lost to Como 4-3. So we've got one last chance of silverware, the Scottish Cup. If we've not won that, we're spinning the forfeit wheel. Well, thankfully, we have won the Scottish Cup. We've beat Celtic 2-1 in the final, winning our first bit of silverware of the rebuild. And thankfully meaning we do not have to spin the forfeit wheel at the start of season 6. But we've arrived in season 6. It feels good to head into a new season with no forfeits in place. We've got £11 million in the bank, which is our best budget to date. However, that is still a very small budget. We weren't actually in the Champions League last season, which is pretty concerning. But this season, we are in the Champions League. I can only think someone like Rangers must have won the Europa League or Celtic or whatever. So we do have Champions League football this season. Is this team good enough to compete in the Champions League? At this moment in time, I really don't think so. And with only £11 million in the bank to improve the team, I'm going to really struggle to get anyone into that starting 11. Now, given the squad that we've got, I think a suitable objective for season 6 would be progressing through the league stage of the Champions League. So our first incoming of season number 6 is a backup attacking midfielder, which we didn't actually have at the club. This guy brings a wealth of experience in European competition, but mainly the Europa League and Conference League. We've signed Calvin Stengs on a 3-year deal. The former Feyenoord man will give Harry Gray some competition. Jesus, man. Wow. Right, boys. Burnley have just bid £105 million for Sam Chambers, who is currently the best player at the club, but I am slightly tempted to accept this offer and use the money to improve the team. So we've got really high potential youngsters like Rafael Bello, who's 18-year-old and exciting prospect, and 73 rated. Give it 2 seasons, he'll be like 84, 85 rated. And we've also got Adrian Cano, 18-year-old, out on loan at Inter Miami. Looking at that team, there's definitely players in there who are not Champions League ready, who need replacing. I genuinely think if we sell Chambers, we can reinvest the money into this team and get us more ready for the Champions League. If Burnley are bidding 105 million, other teams will bid for him as well. It is always a risk selling your best player, isn't it? Wonder if Burnley would give us 120 million for him. 105. Could we get 110 maybe? That's a deal, boys. 110 million could be coming in for Sam Chambers. I'm not sure if Leeds inserted a sell-on clause to the deal, and the deal has gone through. Sam Chambers is leaving Kilmarnock for Burnley. Burnley, by the way, paying £110 million for a player, as we've now got £104 million in the bank. We're not going to get a budget again like this unless we sell a major player. Got to put it to use properly. So let's put the Sam Chambers money to use. We bring a new centre-back to the club, Giancarlo Simic, who joins us for £24 million from Anderlecht. And we then spend £25 million on Moroccan international Youssé in the left-back position. We then spent £4.5 million on the new backup CDM, Junior Mwanga. And wow, this next signing, talk about a marquee incoming. We've just brought a superstar striker to the club from the Bundesliga, as we've completed the signing of Elias Anser from Union Berlin for £43.5 million. 6'6", 25-year-old, incredible pace and dribbling. This is the kind of striker that wins you trophies. But you may notice we didn't actually sign a replacement for Sam Chambers. That's because young Chilean winger Rafael Bello, who's an exciting prospect, will be position changed to right mid, and he will play for us on the wing. And there has been some outgoings as well, as we can see. Players like Dominic Schmid, Joe Hugel, Ross Graham, and this lad have all been sold. Jack Thompson leaves the club as well. The starting 11 is looking much better on paper. Remember, we've got to get through the league phase in the Champions League, otherwise a forfeit is coming our way. And with the progress we are making at the minute, that could be devastating for the rebuild. So season 6 is now completed, and this team is looking strong on paper. Everyone besides Bello is above 80 rated, and Bello has actually grown by 7 overalls this season. He's got 86 dribbling and 91 pace. He looks like an absolute superstar in the making. Harry Gray, 89 rated. Look at the stats. This guy is a genuine superstar. My only concern is we've got quite a few unhappy faces throughout the squad. Does that mean we've underperformed this season? Well, looking at our stats, I'm going to say no, we haven't. 38 goals for Anser in his first season in Scotland. Bello, 30 goals and 9 assists in his first season as a senior starter. This guy is absolutely the second coming of Alexis Sanchez. And would you look at that? For the first time in the rebuild, we are the champions of Scotland, and we've done it in style. 28 wins, 1 loss, 93 points, finishing 14 clear of Rangers in second place. Only conceding 26 goals all season with a 62 goal difference. That is how you win a league title and make a statement at the same time. And we've only gone and made it a domestic double, smashing Livingston 5-0 in the Scottish Cup final. Fair play to Livingston for getting there, but we battered you boys in the final. Now it's time for the moment of truth. If we haven't got through the Champions League phase, we are spinning a forfeit in season 7. Well, we actually finished 7th in the league phase, getting straight through to the round of 16, which means no forfeit upcoming for Kilmarnock. However, in the round of 16, we took on Bayer Leverkusen. Very close game. We lost 4-3 on aggregate. Absolutely no shame in that for a debut season in the Champions League. But we now enter season 7, but the budgets are getting no better. £19 million sits in our bank account. Considering that we don't actually have a forfeit this season, I'm a little bit deflated because I can't really improve the squad with this money. I mean, the starting 11 is very strong. Everyone 80 rated. I'm absolutely raving about Bello. He's an absolute superstar. And even our bench is looking pretty strong. If there's one position I'd want to improve, I'd like to bring a new backup CDM into to replace Feldhauer. We might only actually make one signing in this transfer window. Now, objective-wise for season number 7, the board want us to reach the quarterfinals of the Champions League. Do you know what? I actually think that makes a very suitable objective. We didn't reach it last season. We're not going to have the funds to significantly improve the team. For season 7, our objective is to reach the quarterfinal of the Champions League. Otherwise, we will be spinning the forfeit wheel. We am anticipating quite a quiet transfer window in season 7, but we have managed to bring a backup CDM in, as we've completed the signing of former Sunderland enforcer Pierre Ekwa. He's joined us for 11.5 million. That signing leaves us with 7 million in the bank. I genuinely don't see us making any more signings in this window. I'm just going to focus on getting some young players out on loan off camera, and you know what? I'm just simulating forward to the end of the season. So season 7 is now completed. Look at this team, boys. What a team we've built here at Kilmarnock. Harry Gray being the shining star of the team at 92 rated. But look at Bello. This guy, I've been speaking about him loads, has grown by like 14 overalls in 2 seasons. If there was one position I would improve, it would be centre-back. 10 minute 82 rated, not really the strongest. Speaking of strong, just look at them stats. Answer 35 goals, 12 assists. Bello 26 goals from the wing, growing by 6 overalls. Apoku and Gray, absolutely excellent. Gray 23 assists. We've got 2 players leaving the club at the end of the season, Robin Feldhauer and Mark O'Hara. But unfortunately, Michael Apoku has not asked for a new deal, which is expiring at the end of next season. Do we cash in on him? Do we sell him? Use the money to bring a centre-back in? Because we have got a very promising youngster, Adrian Carno, who's out on loan at Inter Miami. He is coming back in the summer. I think we should probably put Carno in the team, sell Apoku, and bring a centre-back to the club to help us get closer to the Champions League final. Now on to the competitions, and we are once again the champions of Scotland. 95 points accumulated, 99 goals scored, only 1 loss again, making it 2 losses in 2 seasons, 69 plus goal difference. And we win our 3rd consecutive Scottish Cup, beating Celtic 2-1 in the final. We are absolutely dominating Scotland at the minute, but can we start dominating in Europe? Because if we've not reached the Champions League quarter-final, we have got a forfeit coming in season 8. Well, thankfully, we have reached the Champions League quarter-final. We would lose to PSG 3-1 on aggregate. We're not quite ready to be challenging a team like PSG at the minute. Have the objectives been a bit too easy? I don't know. Let me know in the comment section down below. And let me know in the comment section down below, do you want to see the forfeit wheel stay in the videos? So we have now arrived in season 8, and you know what? The board are pulling through. 35 million pounds in the bank. That's a very good budget. With our 35 million, we're going to want to bring a new centre-back to the club. We're going to wait to sell Apoku to make sure we can sign a world-class centre-back. And the bid has come in for Apoku, which I think is acceptable. 63.5 million from Braga. We are going to accept this deal, and we're going to start getting to work on bringing a new centre-back to the club. With the sale of Apoku going through, we've now got 88 million pounds in the bank. No reasons why we can't bring a world-class centre-back in with this money. Tell you something, with the signing we've just made in the centre-back position, the subscribers who are really big fans of realism are not going to like this transfer one bit, because trust me, we have pushed the boat out. Because we've completed the signing of Marc Pubil from Atletico Madrid. We've paid 65 million pounds for the 87 rated centre-back. This is an insane signing, boys. And we did have enough money left over to bring a new attacking midfielder to the club, and he joins us from Manchester City, and his dad is Emil Heskey. We've completed the signing of Jadon Heskey from City for 15 million pounds. Heskey is a significant upgrade on Stengs. What a transfer window, lads. We're more than ready now to attack the Champions League and defend our Scottish crowns, as this starting 11 is absolutely stacked for a Scottish Premiership side. We've had 2 outgoings in the transfer window. We know Apoku's left the club. Guilherme Fernandes has gone to QPR. I'm excited to see how Kilmarnock get on this season with our new signings, but our seasonal objective is not going to be easy. We must reach the Champions League semi-final, otherwise we will be getting a forfeit. Well, season 8 is concluded, and would you look at that, we are in the Champions League final. We'll be taking on PSG as usual, as we finished top of the league phase, and we were impressive. 5 wins, 3 draws, only 5 goals conceded in 8 games, finishing joint top with Juventus. PSG absolutely nowhere to be seen down in 13th. In the round of 16 we take on Ajax. Very one-sided tie. We smash them 8-3. Just had to play quarter-final with Chelsea, which was a much tighter affair. We win the tie 2-1. We then went on to take on Barcelona in the semis, who we beat 3-1 in aggregate. Likewise for PSG, who beat Man City 3-1. It all comes down to Kilmarnock versus PSG in the Champions League final. And we make it 3 consecutive SPL titles, finishing 5 points clear of Rangers. Not as dominant this season, but I'll certainly take 3 consecutive SPL titles. And we would actually go on to lose to Motherwell in the Scottish Cup final. Couldn't make it 4 consecutive Scottish Cups, so fair play to Motherwell for actually beating us. And I tell you what, Motherwell deserve a lot of credit for beating us. This is a literal super team full of 90 rated players. We are going into the Champions League final with a small injury to Carno, but he will definitely be starting the game as Carson, our backup winger's injured. And that takes me on to the stats. Answer's been absolutely amazing. Bello and Gray incredible as well. Carno did get 17 goals and 3 assists. If I'm going to give a Hall of Fame out, it has to be to Harry Gray, who is probably the best player we have used in FC26. 45 goal involvements in 56 games. He's been our best player every single season. And now it all comes down to Kilmarnock versus PSG in the Champions League final. Are we ending the rebuild lifting a Champions League trophy? But we are taking an absolutely insane team into the Champions League final with loads of 90 rated players. But PSG's team is decent as well. A lot of really good players here. No real weak points other than Kinte. This is going to be a really entertaining game. We're almost at the 10-minute mark. A lot of just exchanging possession, as you've just seen. No one really managing to put a good spell of possession together. That's a nice little bit of passing play though. Look how congested it is in the middle of this park, boys. It's great. That's a nice ball. Van Eyck's got a bit of space. Shoots straight at Carnesecchi. Can't get the rebound. First shot of the game. We're almost half an hour into this game and there's not really been a clear-cut chance. It's been so evenly matched. Out wide to Kutleshi, who has got a bit of space. Whipped in. Answer can get on the end of it, but he can't power his header goalwards. I'm still waiting for a clear-cut chance 30 minutes in. So Neves, this could be a chance. Shot dragged wide. Vitinha deflected wide. They're going to get a corner. Get this cleared. Nice. Great. Oh, that's not good. That's not good at all. And it's in the back of the net. It is 1-0 to PSG. And João Neves, who was threatening a minute ago, gives the French side the lead. We need a good pass here. Cuts back. Across to Answer. 1-1. Instant response. The PSG defence just caught completely napping. We win the ball back high on the left wing. Really good dribbling there. And it's just placed into the net by Answer. And that's half-time. The game just come to life in the last 5 minutes before half-time. Looks like Dimitar Berbatov is the referee. And it's 1-1 going into the break. This is going to be one tight second half. Down the line to Cano. This is really nice. Ball to Gray. A Hall of Famer. What a finish by Harry Gray. It's 2-1 to Kilmarnock. What a finish that is by Harry Gray to put us into the lead. A little bit scrapping, a good interception by Kutleshi straight back to his man. Don't let Vitinha get a shot away. Nope. Oh, it's going to be 1-0. What a tackle by Mark Pabil. Oh my God, I can't get my words out. I cannot believe that tackle. The pace, the power, and Answer's in. Big chance. Oh, what a finish by Ilyas Answer. It's 3-1 to Kilmarnock. That is all about the play from Harry Gray, but what a finish that is, right into the top corner. Cuts in. Shot. That is just wide from the winger. Mayulu. Shot. Spilled. Clear it. And PSG are going to get a corner. I feel like if we defend this corner, the game is going to be over. Let's just not concede from this corner, lads. That's all I want. Whipped in. That's a free header for clear away. Diamande. Zaire Amiri, get rid of it. Let's get rid of the ball, please. Good tackle, clear it. Oh my God. And there's the full-time whistle, lads. We have beat PSG. Kilmarnock are the champions of Europe. And our Hall of Famer, Harry Gray, really turned on the style in that second half. And it is now time for us to get our hands on that Champions League trophy. It'll be Van Eyck, our youth academy captain, and Kilmarnock are the champions of Europe. That sort of a rebuild successfully boxed off. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hype. I'll see you in the next one when we rebuild an Italian giant.